Hello and welcome to today's 5-in-1 Mayani Talks, and today's topic is going to be all about the use of metals in jewelry making, and specifically stainless steel. Yes, I've got some exciting facts to share with you which you may not have known about, all of which make stainless steel a very eco-conscious choice when it comes to your luxury jewelry. Yes, luxury jewelry. So, stainless steel, growing up, just indulge me for a moment, growing up, stainless steel surrounded me a lot. I come from a South Asian Indian Gujarati household. I know there's a lot of classifications there, but bear with me. Growing up in this background, in my culture, stainless steel was very prominent, particularly in kitchens, and I think it is prominent in pretty much almost all Indian kitchens, including in the West. Western kitchens will see stainless steel in the form of stainless steel cutlery in particular, of course colanders and sieves, but also a growing number of stainless steel cookware being used in Western kitchens as well. So in Indian households, of course, growing up, there was plenty of stainless steel around in the form of cups, bowls, plates, pots and pans, including the staple lakadu, as we call it in my country. In Gujarat, in my region of the country, Gujarat is called a lakadu, and the lakadu is basically a spice tin, and it's a metal tin, a stainless steel tin that contains little stainless steel pots, and within those you fill your everyday spices that you use every time you cook, pretty much. So every time you're cooking, you just pull out this one spice tin and you've got everything there on hand to just get cooking with. So stainless steel surrounded me a lot throughout my childhood. However, it is not just being used in kitchenware anymore. Yes, it has been used in the production of jewelry too, and it's because it is a fantastic eco-conscious option for you when it comes to metal in your jewelry. And here's the first reason why. Stainless steel is endlessly renewable and recyclable. Not only that, but actually it can be recycled and reused without losing any of its properties in the process. Now that's quite important because many lower grade metal alloys will lose some of their properties along the way. The more they're melted down and reworked into something new, the more brittle they become, the more prone to corrosion they become, and the more difficult they become to shape without creating cracks. Stainless steel has none of those issues. You can melt it down, rework it into something new, and it loses none of its essential properties, which are that it is very corrosion resistant, and of course I'll come into it in a moment, but it's incredibly durable, and it's hypoallergenic, and it keeps its color as well. So stainless steel is endlessly renewable and recyclable, which is fantastic. In fact, most of the stainless steel we have present today, 50% of that is actually recycled stainless steel. So I think it's a brilliant metal already from that point of view. Following on to fact number 2 now, when it comes to recyclability, stainless steel is much more readily and easily recycled in general facilities for recycling compared to lower grade metals and metal alloys that are not stainless steel. They require specialist centers, and you have to send off your lower grade metals and metal alloys to these specialist facilities that are equipped with and familiar with dealing with these metals to be able to be melted down again to be reused. Stainless steel, on the other hand, can be thrown in your household waste. It'll be collected and be reworked into something new. So it's very easily recycled in that sense as well, from the fact of convenience of you being able to dispose of it and find that it's responsibly recycled and doesn't end up in a landfill site. Lower grade metals, when it comes to jewelry, tend to be found in tiny components like your jewelry clasps, your jump rings, if they're not stainless steel, of course, and chains, and all these tiny bits of metal. Most people are not going to harvest to then send to a specialist facility to be responsibly recycled. In actual fact, most of these pieces of jewelry, including those that are made up with plastic components, are going to end up with those little parts. Maybe not the whole piece of jewelry, but those little parts in particular are going to end up in your household waste, and then they're essentially going to end up adding to our landfill sites, never being salvaged, never being recycled, because they require specialist facilities in the case of those lower grade metal alloys. So stainless steel is fantastically recyclable now, not just from a point of view of the metal, but also from how easy it is to recycle it. Fact number 3, it's a fantastically durable metal. It doesn't peel, it doesn't chip, it doesn't flake. You don't have a loss of color over time. It is true to say that with high frequency contact, abrasion, high frequency contact with materials like glass or ceramics, which are a bit harder than stainless steel, or harder metals, or even diamonds, so for example, if you're throwing your jewelry regularly into contact with coins or keys, or perhaps storing the jewelry not necessarily flat and separate from each other in your jewelry box, and you kind of just chucking them together, then it will be exposed to some degree of scratching. However, that does create a brushed stainless steel look, which most people actually like. In the event that you don't like that, you can of course have the stainless steel refinished, and the amount of times you'll have to have it refinished will be much less than your precious metals, because gold and silver, on the other hand, are, yes, they won't peel or chip or flake unless they are plated. Traditionally plated metals will have peeling and chipping and flaking happening in the process. But if you're talking about, pure gold and silver, there's no peeling or chipping or flaking as such, but microscopic amounts of your gold and silver will be lost over time through frequency of contact with your skin. So you will be losing some of those particles, and there is some micro waste generated by them in that sense, which stainless steel does not generate. So it's incredibly durable, and along with that, it's corrosion resistant, which I mentioned before, which is fantastic. It keeps its look. As I mentioned, it can develop a bit of a brushed stainless steel look, but it keeps its look overall, and it is, on top of which, fact number 4, hypoallergenic. So alongside being very durable, very recyclable, very easily recycled, it is hypoallergenic. And I think that's very important, because many women over time, with frequent exposure to lower grade metal alloys, end up developing metal allergies. And metal allergies particularly stem from contact with nickel. Now, nickel is contained in a lot of lower grade metals. It can be contained in stainless steel fixtures and fittings or pieces of jewelry if the stainless steel is not high grade stainless steel. And that's true of precious metals as well, gold and silver, platinum. If any of your precious metals and stainless steel are lower grade, so when it comes to precious metals, I'm talking about 18 karat, 14 karat gold, for example. If they're lower grade in that way, they may have some elements of nickel that they will leach out and that may be involved in their creation, because they are mixed with an alloy. So you want to go for high grade stainless steel and pure precious metals if you are, so 24 karat or above, because in that case you will not have the allergens, the kind of properties, the chemicals that are going to be present in the jewelry that will cause an allergic reaction to be more likely to be something you experience. So high quality stainless steel, as well as of course precious metals, do avoid that for you, and they are hypoallergenic. But as mentioned before, stainless steel has the edge when it comes to those precious metals in terms of being more renewable, more recyclable. It actually, when it comes to recyclability, is fact number 5, more energy efficient. Yes, energy is required to produce any of these metals, but stainless steel requires the least amount of energy to create. If you're creating new stainless steel, that is, least amount of energy to create in comparison to precious metals like gold or silver. Of course, the amount of energy required to rework gold and silver, if you're recycling them into something new, that goes down significantly, because when you're recycling gold and silver, the whole mining element is taken out of it. But even so, stainless uses a much smaller fraction of energy to be created. And when it comes to recycling, again, it keeps its energy requirement very low. So it is very eco-conscious in terms of how much energy it actually demands, not just to generate new stainless steel, but also to recycle stainless steel. Lower grade metal alloys require medium to high energy consumption, and as mentioned, they do lose properties through being recycled. Now I'm going to throw in a fact number 6 there, only because I just have to. It's fantastic and I need to add it in. Of course, when it comes to cost, stainless steel is a fantastic option and choice for you. Yes, gold filled is brilliant, and actually it's better than gold plated, because gold filled involves thicker layers of gold, so you're less likely to have bits of gold kind of over time being lost from your plated material. However, when it comes to everyday pieces of jewelry that you're going to wear, not only for long periods of time, but also very frequently, stainless steel wins hands down as the eco-conscious and affordable option for you. So I hope you enjoyed my little tour of stainless steel today. Perhaps you've gone away loving stainless steel even more and seeing it not just in your kitchen anymore, but actually in your luxury jewelry wardrobe. You may also hopefully have picked up a few tips on how to care for your stainless steel jewelry. Of course, making sure you don't put it in contact with your coins or your keys, so don't just chuck it in your bag. Also making sure that your stainless steel is kept in a jewelry storage box in a nice, neat way, laying the pieces flat, making sure they're not kind of all chucked on top of each other, as many of us have probably grown up doing, throwing them into a jewelry box, not really laying them out. So making sure they're laid out nicely so you avoid that abrasion, unless you like the brushed stainless steel look, in which case that's fine. It won't be a problem. All you end up with is scratches and a slightly duller finish on your stainless steel, which, as I say, many people do enjoy. I hope you enjoyed today's talk. If you have a favorite fact that you'd like to share about a metal that you enjoy, I'd love to hear that below. I'd love to know your thoughts, of course, on today's talk. And if you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button. And if you want to stick around, subscribe as well. And if you hit that notification bell, you'll be informed every single time I create a new one of these. So enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for joining me, and remember, because your jewelry should always be more than just an afterthought. Bye for now.